Question: what crucial piece of life advice do you wish you'd been able to share with your younger self? That's the question that my next guest asked 1,000 Americans all across the country while also taking their portrait. In May of 2022, Imran Nuri, a 20-something son of two Indian immigrants, quit his job at the nonprofit he founded and embarked on a journey across America. Nuri lived in his Toyota Camry for 12 weeks. He traveled to all 48 continental states, slept in rest areas, casino parking lots, Walmarts, occasionally on friends' couches. He approached a diverse swath of strangers, asking them to impart life advice, and then could he take their picture? And he chronicled all of it on his Instagram and YouTube pages. Here are some snippets of lessons he's been collecting.
You can't get back time. I spent most of my life chasing a dollar and worried about paying bills. Now my daughter's grown, I've got time, but she's grown. She's on her own time now. I would tell myself not to worry so much about what other people think and really trust my gut to do what I felt was right. Accept the things you can't control and adapt. These days it seems like people who have common sense don't even use it. You look at the sky and it's obviously blue, but someone else will say it's purple. At the end of the day, that's their problem, not yours. Save money. I was negligent. I did a lot of traveling, following fish. You think the money will always be there, but that's not always true. Don't get married. That's it. Just don't get married.
Imran Nuri joins me now. He's an artist and storyteller. Imran, you put some miles on that Toyota Camry of yours. What made you do this?
You know, Michael, first of all, thanks so much for having me here. But there were two major reasons for me doing this. The first one being that I wanted to push myself as far out of my comfort zone as I possibly could in the most extreme fashion, because as I'm sure you understand, the greatest strides in personal development, personal growth happen when we push ourselves out of our comfort zones. But number two, and probably more importantly, I wanted to figure out the meaning of life. I wanted to figure out what it meant to make the absolute most of life, and I wanted to figure that out according to complete strangers, ordinary people that I bumped into on the street, people like you and me. And I ended up photographing them so that I could share this life advice with people. I photographed them on my 50-year-old camera, which I'm sure your viewers will enjoy seeing. And I feel like the life advice that I got showed me a lot of key themes about what it means to make the most of life.
Well, what is the common denominator? Because you were asking each person the same question. What's the advice you wish you could have given to your younger self? What was the takeaway?
You know, I'll give you a specific example. I think one of my favorite interactions and somebody who mentioned something that was a common theme across the board, something that I think everybody else should understand more, is this was stranger number 549, a man named Don Caskey. Now, Don is somebody who is from Ohio. I'm also from Ohio. We met during my 1 hour in Colorado Springs, which kind of speaks to the serendipity of this entire process. But to make a long story short, Don got diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer a few years ago, and decided that while he couldn't take anything with him when he went, he could make memories. And so he chose to make as many memories as he possibly could with his remaining time by getting matching tattoos with complete strangers. And unfortunately, Don passed away just a couple weeks ago. I ended up getting my first tattoo with him. I was stranger number 435 for him. He was 549 for me. And before he passed, of course, he gave me his life advice, which is a huge theme. He said, "I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time working because I really missed out on a lot of things. When I look back and I lost everything when I got the diagnosis, that's when I got more than I ever had in my life. I got human connection at a grand scale that I'd never had before." And what he said was, one of the most important things in life is to have that human connection.
How approachable were people? I mean, you show up, you're a young guy, you've got this odd-looking camera. Hey, I want to take your picture and I want to ask you a question about the meaning of life. Did a lot of people blow you off?
No, I think the camera added to the friendliness of it, but I was very careful to make sure that I looked as approachable as possible. I always kept a clean-shaven face. I wore my bright yellow Crocs. I always had a big smile on my face. I'd say of all the people I talked to, 99% of people were willing to at least chat with me, and about 90% were willing to be a part of that final series and have their photo taken of all those 1,000 strangers.
Imran, you know the media, well, I'll say, in my opinion, the media and the politicians keep telling us how divided we are in this country. Are we as divided as they make us out to be?
My answer is a resounding firm no, we are not. And it really looks that way when you're just paying attention to the news, when you're just paying attention to social media. I think it's really important for people to take a step back and remind themselves that what you see in the news, what you see on social media is the worst of the worst of the worst things that are happening at any given moment on any day. The vast majority of interactions are positive or at least neutral.
I smell coffee table book.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm hoping to launch a book later this year. People can get notified when it's ready at my website, imrannuri.com.